traders, to our midweek technical analysis video. So jumping straight into things here from where the market opened up, which is this candlestick here. As we spoke about in our start of week technical analysis, we established that price was on sort of that bearish retracement after we saw that initial bearish drop at the end of the week. We expected price to sort of consolidate around that area, and price in fact did that in a downwards sort of bearish fashion. Price ended up finding support at around 4,060, where price originally found sort of support after that original bearish drop. Price then came to this level again, but instead of testing it and respecting it as a support level, we saw price completely fail and push down to our next point of interest at around 4,005. Price pushed away from this area and then sort of gave us a break and retest pattern, testing as resistance on previous levels of support, indicating to us at the time that we were going to see a continued move in terms of this bearish momentum, and we did in fact see that. Price then pushed down to test that rough point of interest of around 4,005 once again, and from there gold has been on the up. Since then, price pushed back up to that level of resistance that we found with our break and retest pattern, retested it, price retraced slightly, tested on one of our points of interest, or sweeping resting liquidity below sort of these lows here. And then from there, price pushed on bullish, creating higher highs and higher lows all the way up until where we are now. So interesting enough, there is a couple areas that we want to take into account. So we have our sort of high point here, and we have this area testing as somewhat of a support. So what we're going to look for, obviously we have 12 minutes left of this candlestick, and we are seeing sort of a bearish engulfing pattern take place or form in front of us right now. If we see the candlestick finish anywhere around the levels that it is trading at now, in other words, if it's bigger than the previous candlestick and it finishes that way, we're then going to expect that candlestick pattern to play itself out, the bearish engulfing, and we will look for sort of that 4 o'clock open candlestick to be that entry candlestick. However, if we see price bring itself all the way back up and fail sort of as a bearish engulfing, then we'll expect price to sort of push back up, and we'll just accept this as bears or sellers just getting in or trying to take control of the market and failing. But as you can see, price is moving quite significantly in and around this area, so you can see that there's a lot of volume within the markets at this area. Obviously, we are sort of early hours, not even early hours, we're sort of at the start of that New York session, so there's going to be a lot of volume and volatility within the markets anyway, so definitely something to keep an eye out for. But what we're going to be expecting to see from here is, based on the current price action we are seeing, we're going to expect price to pull back up, not give us that bearish engulfing pattern, and then push on and further away from this level. If we do see that, there's going to be one point of interest that we have to see broken, which is that level of 4,145. We spoke about that in our post-week market review. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then be sure to check out that latest video. You'll see it before this one. We spoke about the level of 4,145 quite a lot, and sort of the impacts that it would have on gold. So just sort of, if you're interested in that, be sure to check it out. One of the reasons for that level being important is we have seen price test on this level multiple times as a resistance and support, indicating to us that it's a nice psychological level to take into account if we see price come to it. However, there's going to be two possible moves, and they are bearish and bullish. So what we're going to expect is sort of if price pushes up to anywhere around this area, we're going to expect price to push through that level of 4,130, push up to that level of 1,445, and if price decides to break that, we're then going to expect price to obviously continue on. If price comes to this level, slows down, and we see sellers start to step in, we'll expect price to come back down, potentially giving us a break and retest pattern on this high. If we see this bearish momentum inside of this hour continue, we will expect a bearish engulfing candlestick to take place, which will look sort of something like this. We'll see our entry candlestick, which will come probably about half of the volume of the previous candlestick, obviously the candlestick that is trading right now, and then we will see price retrace sort of in this hour or the next hour here, and then we could see sort of price break that higher high and higher low formation and perhaps pull back down to around 4,060. So a couple moves to look out for. Main thing to keep an eye on right now is obviously this hourly candlestick. This technical analysis probably won't even be out for you guys to watch by the time this candlestick's closed, so you'll be able to have a look at that next candlestick and base off of what's actually happened with the candlestick that we're trading at now. So yeah, that's pretty much it for our midweek technical analysis video. As always, I hope you've all enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.